All right, welcome to week one. Feature matches Pioneer Masters. We got Adam here with us today. How's it going?
Yeah, it's going pretty good. How's it going over there?
All right, we're starting off with a matchup here between Matthias, who's, I believe, just coming off his second top eight finish, and Adrian C on the other side here. So, what's he working with over there? Hello.
Oh, we've got an interesting hand going over here. It looks like we're junned, although I don't see any red cards as of yet. And a pretty good curve. Got a couple of two drops, a three drop, and then at the top, Nemesis of Mortals as a six drop. But a handful of two drops, basically.
Okay, I mean, still have stuff to do here. So for Matthias, he's got a district guide, which pulls a lot of these decks together. Wait, doesn't that have haste? Yeah, I think
Yeah, I'm not sure why we played the Haster out. There was some debate about what to play there.
yeah, he could have just been deciding like mid turn and then decided I'll just play that, even though obviously it would have been better uh, pre combat since of the haste. So we see all the colors now represented here from Matthias in hand. He's got the Crawl Harpooner, Nimbus Naiad, Possess Scab, and some lands here. So no interaction yet, but he's got creatures to play for the next few turns here.
Yeah, the league has felt a little bit light on interaction so far, in my experience, anyway. It's
Yeah,
felt like a lot of bombs, but not a lot of answers.
yeah. So I know for me, I'm like the other way around. I think I have like 8 black removal spells at my disposal, but not too much ways to actually win the game afterwards. But yeah, from what I can tell from other people, that seems to be the common sentiment of like, somebody just plays one of these silly planeswalkers that are running around more so this week than perhaps next week, and just yeah. And I mean, I myself have lost because of the bad mana. I've seen other people lose because of it. So um,
Yep.
you're not seeing too many two color decks just yet. Maybe in future weeks, but for now we see lots of gates in people's decks.
We're looking right now at five cards, four of which are going to the graveyard, including a Liliana. Uh, I'm not sure which one. I can't see that far down the pile.
Yep.
But we got the choice between a stab wound, a stampeding elk, which is what we ended up choosing, the elk.
Yeah, Matthias did. It was Liliana of the Dark Realms, which is the one that cares about swamps.
Uh,
Not one of the like premium ones.
there's
But
what, three Lilianas in the base set, and also you could have access to the war one as well at this point.
yeah, I think only one of them gets to stay though past the bonus ship
Right.
rotations here. Yeah, so just pretty straightforward creature combat here. Yeah, we'll see if that 3 miss damage from earlier comes into play a big role in this game.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
All right, well, I mean, the advantage of trading off creatures is that you get a cheap 5/5 here, and that 5/5 is gonna rule the board for at least a little bit here. So Matthias still has the possessed scab that can get back one of his creatures, Nimbus Naiad, Pulse of Marasa, but nothing to fight against a 5/5 for the time being.
Yeah, that needs an answer quick.
Yeah, so that thing is just, I think in this set, like just big stuff hasn't been great, but I mean in this game, seems like it's going to be pretty decent here. But just like generic big green creatures hasn't seemed to be amazing just because of all the value that you can get from the gate stacks and all that.
Yeah, there's no good blocks here for Matthias.
Yeah,
We've got a couple of two drops we could play out. Undead Butler, as well as a Baleful Eidolon.
yeah. The undead butler is going to fuel up the monstrous ability from the nemesis, perhaps, since you need 9, and I believe he has 3 creatures in there already, so he can quite possibly be able to monstrous it next turn.
Yeah.
With yep, that's what he needed. Yeah, so I don't unless no, he's drawn his own elk herd here, but yeah. So he has the choice between playing 2 middling creatures or playing an elk herd or gaining 6 life with a pulse of Marasa and playing
Mm.
a 3 drop. But it's all not looking great. I think he just says, I'm just going to play this 5/5 here, hope for the best. But that Nemesis Immortals, I believe, is going to cost, I believe, 4 to
Yeah,
monstrous.
it's available now to do
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, he had two. He
Now
had
we're
3 before, and now has 2 additional. So
he's thinking about it. It seems like the plan.
yeah, so looking like I mean, from the cards we see, it looks like just like a pretty forward green black deck here, unless like we haven't actually seen any red cards.
Yeah.
Might just be playing a couple red cards, or even I mean, he's at 0-0, so he hasn't added any packs yet. This is his first match. So for Matthias, he's on his fourth. He's 3-0 so far, so he's off to a good start. But they both have the same amount of packs at their disposal here. All right.
So I don't think we have anything else playable here. I guess the scarab could be used to make a treasure.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I mean, maybe he's able to stay alive long enough to find some way to deal with this 5/5. But for now, he's just going to be putting bodies in front here and hoping for the best.
Looks like our plan is to make a treasure over here. Every card that we have access to besides the scarab is a 5 drop right
Okay, so
now.
all fives in turn. Okay.
It's Stampeding Elk, Priest of the Bloodright, which is the 2/2 that dings you for 2 each turn. Uh, and then Revive from the Underworld.
Oh, rescue from the underworld. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, Rescue, sorry, Rescue from the
Yeah.
Underworld, as well as a Dreadmangler in the Graveyard, which would also take 5 to activate.
Yeah. So we'll see how he decides to use this mana. Like unlike Matthias, who has more lands than he wants. Um,
Yeah.
Adrian does. He is bounded by how much mana he has here for making his decisions.
The top deck was a Dreadbore as well, which is interesting.
Yeah.
That's the first red card we've seen.
Okay, I mean that's a pretty reasonable one to splash in. It's good at any point in the game. Yeah, so Matthias has
Yep.
decided instead of playing his Nimbus Naiad, he's just going to cast a Pulse of Marassa to gain 6 life here, keep himself healthy. So he
Yeah,
doesn't
that's
really
pretty
have
smart.
anything great to get back, but I think he has the Crawl Harpooner, and that's basically it. But I mean, the 6 life is what he's after here. He figures 6 life is better than a random 2/2 blocker. Yeah, so Adrian does throw up the thinking here, which really, I mean, he is bounded by only being able to do one thing this turn, so he really has to decide what it is that thing is going to be.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think we had someone unmute there for a second. Yeah, I don't think that there's much to be done here. I think you've got to swing in with the 5/5. Presumably it's going to get blocked. I don't see any other lines. He's considering using the scavenge ability on the Dreadmangler.
okay, yeah, that would make the blocks a little bit awkward. Okay, so he's decided that instead of casting anything, he's just gonna make a 4/4 here and potentially just attack with that.
Huh. Yeah.
Okay, I mean, like you feel like he could have attacked with the 5/5 with the mana open and just basically, you just force a block every single turn until the end of the game. Oh, okay. So it looks like he's decided to attack all of them. I think I was gonna say the blocks are pretty obvious here.
Yeah, well, except that we don't know about the pulse.
Yeah. So yeah. So I mean, I think that worked out pretty okay for Matthias overall. I mean, he still has this 4/4 here that he has no answer to, but he got to trade
We're still
off and
desperate.
not have to deal with a 10/10.
Yeah. Although we can get back the Nemesis.
Is that the best thing?
Two
Okay.
fewer cards in the grave.
Okay.
But the
Well,
Nemesis casts for only two.
another gate off the top here, obviously not great. I mean, with his mana situation, then the Nemesis costing two and the Nemesis costing four are yeah pretty close to the same since he can only do one thing a turn.
Yeah, that's right. Unless he hits another green or red source, he can't do both of those. I'm surprised at this attack.
He's gonna play. I assume he's gonna. He played the untapped land. Oh, okay. He's keeping this Nimbus Naiad in hand. I'm not sure what he's trying to do with it, but he's kept open the Fumarole as a blocker here
Right.
for this 4/4 because it can switch into a 4/1.
With no land draw, we just drew a second stampeding elk herd. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Tough
he's been
spot
really
here.
strapped for lands here. Like, if he drew like a couple extra lands here and there, he'd probably have this game wrapped up more or less. But now he's
Oh yeah.
basically bounded on what he can do here. This 4/4 is going to trade for a land.
Guess we could now. I can't even dread for it. Yeah.
Dreadbore is a sorcery, so
Oh
now I
dear.
guess he's just going to play the 5/5. Okay.
Yeah.
So another district guide off the top here. I mean, you love to see a deck with district guides, but you're hoping to draw stuff other than lands right now. I mean, last turn was a land. This turn, district guide is a land as well. So I think Matthias
Yeah.
has
This is.
decided he needs to try and wrap this game up quick. I think he knows that he's still in this game because his opponent has not drawn a couple extra lands. So he said, "I'm just gonna suit this up here."
Just got a Gate Colossus, which is seven to
Yeah,
cast.
7. Yeah, that's not where you want to be. Yeah, I mean, you know, we know this happens in the game sometimes. He kept a completely reasonable hand where he could play like most of his cards, and then just didn't draw lands. But he's still in the game. So, but this 5/4 flying is quite threatening.
I can't see the activation currently for the Nemesis Monstrous ability.
Well, he cast it for 2, right?
Yeah,
So that
that
means
means
he's got at
four.
least 4 in the graveyard. So he might be able to monstrous it if he has one extra creature. So he's dumped a bunch in there, but the butler at least was exiled when it died.
Because we could attack through the 2/2 if we dreadbore the 2/2, but not go monstrous at the same time. So I think it's just force the chump.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I mean, he does have the advantage of he does have like what they call like an abyss creature here. Just basically, your opponent has to put something in front of it every single turn. Oh, okay. He's showing that Jace Memory Adept off the top here, which in 40 card I know is quite the scourge, but
Do the
little
extra 20 cards matter? Find out.
absolutely in this case, yes. Um, I mean, in this case, he just says, "I need the card. Like, I don't care about my opponent's milling." It's in fact, there's probably an advantage to it for the opponent to get milled 10 right now, based on what we've seen from his deck. Lots of recursion. So yeah, so he just says, "I'm just going to draw a card," and I believe he milled himself of another land gone, which was nice.
Okay, so we have just hit a Voyaging Satyr, which is kind of like a land.
Yeah, we usually don't want to draw mana dorks on turn 10, but I guess here it's kind of what the doctor ordered. He's done a Skyrider elf here, which is a 5/5 effectively.
I'm surprised Matthias is milling Adrian.
Well, he said there's got to be a land there somewhere. I can maybe deny him the next land drop, and of course it was a land.
Yeah, that is obviously infuriating.
Right on cue. Yeah, so we got the Skyrider elf here. Gate deck staple. Just because.
But there was another forest
Okay.
that unlocks his entire hand. Although I guess his entire hand was technically already unlocked.
Yeah, I mean it still limits him to like one thing per turn. So, well, unfortunate on that end. I mean, he still just has this nemesis that just gets to attack every turn and force something to stand in front of it.
Yeah.
It's still some. I mean, I guess we'll see how much removal he has, but like zero removal drawn for Matthias is
That
kind of
has been my experience of this format, though. I mean, I think as people accumulate more packs, we'll get more removal, obviously. But
okay.
some cards that are pretty marginal in draft are just allowed to run unchecked here in the league.
All right. I haven't stumbled across that in my own experience, but I think that's more the exception than the rule. All right. So in it comes and it gets blocked.
And it's
So
got to be
now I
one of
think,
these
yeah,
Elkern.
well, playing the Elkerd means that the Nemesis is going to trample now. Oh, he's trying to gust of wind, which is nice here.
I would be so angry to see this right now.
I said I'm going to send this
I
out of
would
the
be.
deck, and another land drawn, unfortunately. All right, he's got a draconic roar here, which is not. I mean, it is a removal, but it's not the one. This is the removal you want early in the game, but late in the game,
No dragons in hand.
it just lands. I mean, he has basically like a dragon in play, but it's technically an elf.
All right, now we've hit the land section of the deck for sure because we've milled two and drawn two, the last four cards on top.
All right, well, I mean that means he will be able to maybe do more than one thing a turn now.
Nope, still all five drops plus in hand. Every single, it's two elk herds, maybe two things if he can rescue something from the underworld in. But otherwise, Gate Colossus can come down here.
I don't think I've ever read the ultimate of this Jace Memory Adept, and nor do I know how much loyalty it is. But is that possibly within? Like, I don't even know what it does. I assume your opponent just mills their whole deck or something.
I haven't seen Adrian even check yet either. So either he's
Yeah,
intimately familiar or maybe I could get a big
yeah.
surprise.
I mean, in 40 cards, it's just like 0, 0, 0. Okay, the game's done. Like, and that's basically it. If you can defend it.
Here we
All right,
go.
he
We're
says,
coming
well,
in
might
with
as well
both.
attack with a Voyaging Satyr since you have to block.
Interesting.
Let's see if Adrian
I
actually
think I think
decides
he's
if he's gonna let this trade or if he's gonna press the issue here.
yeah, he's thinking about it. I think he might just take the trade here for fear of removal.
It's interesting because I feel like having a creature that your opponent just has to throw something in front of every turn is just so good.
Yeah.
But I mean, now with his opponent down
Well,
at 5, the Elker just does the same thing basically.
yeah, that's right.
All right, he's trying to Gates Ablaze, which will actually deal with the threats here. I think he's just double checking to make sure he's got 5 gates, and he does have 6. Oh, so okay, so it's -7 is any number of target players each draw 20 cards. That's the -7. So you get to give 20 cards to any amount of players.
Adrian just read that now.
Okay, yeah. So he's drawn a Boundary Lands Ranger here, so not the greatest thing. But Adrian will be able to start playing some more of his big stuff, I guess, right?
What would you do? Yes, he will be able to cast one. Probably the Gates Colossus
That
coming down.
is gonna kill the opponent straight away. He might need
What
to
would you
draw.
do with this ultimate here? Would you draw 20?
He might need to
I
draw
think I would
20
draw
in order
20.
to answer the Gate Colossus because he's just dead to it, right? Yep. He's like, yep, me. I'll take 20 of
Love
this.
to see this.
Ooh. And
Love this.
so okay. So he's looking for answers here. I see I see a treasure cruise if he needs more cards, so he can kill this. He'll have to combine some number of burn spells. I see an exquisite firecraft. Uh, okay, so he's going to start with a treasure cruise here to draw more, I believe. He says, "You know what? 20 cards, not quite enough." I think it's the first time we've seen somebody drop 20 cards at once in a feature match. Oh, he's drawing
Yeah,
a
I imagine.
Stormbreath Dragon. Okay, but I mean, I think he has to use 3 burn spells to kill this thing. Either that, or he
The
can
turn
maybe
of
lethal the
excess.
opponent. He's drawn a Stormbreath Dragon, so between Stormbreath Dragon dealing 4, Draconic Roar dealing like 3 to the opponent because now he has a dragon. He has a Wild Slash as well, a Witch's Mark. He might be able to lethal the opponent here if he has enough mana. He has a Rimrock Knight too for an extra 2 damage. So bounded on how he has 5 red mana, so you can play Stormbreath, Draconic Roar. Hmm. Don't think he's quite there. So I think he's just going to go on the. He's going to decide to block it. That's going to be the strategy.
Probably should draw some cards here. What's his deck like?
He could have killed the. He's still got. Oh, he's got 5 cards left in the deck, I believe. I don't think that matters that much at this point. Like I think, yeah, he's got 5 cards left in the deck, but I mean, he's either gonna like die or win in the next 5 turns. So, all right. So now we get to the fun part of discarding to hand size here. Keep 7 cards. The rest will be discarded. I mean, he had like 20 or so.
Well, he drew what, 27 cards that turn?
Uh, Perhaps something like that. He's drunk. He drew 23, right? Where'd the others come from?
Well, he cast a Witch's Mark
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
he targeted a Gnarlback Rhino with
yeah. He
it.
said,
So that's a
"I need all
little.
the cards in my deck."
And then you get one at the beginning of a turn, right? So 23 plus 3 plus 1. I think I count 27.
I did. I didn't quite catch how many lands he had, but he might have been able to lethal with the Storm Breath. But he had Storm Breath. He could have gone. Yeah,
Oh, did you?
Draconic Roar. Yeah, he maybe could have lethal 4/7. I'm not sure if he had enough mana for an extra 4 damage after that. He has exquisite Firecraft also for 4 damage to any target.
So does he have lethal next turn if
He's
he
Yeah,
survives?
he's got to. He might have had the lethal this turn. I didn't quite count all the mana. There was a lot of lands in play, so.
Yeah, it looks
But
like
I
he
figured that he
has
would have been able
13.
to. Okay, so he's choosing cards to keep here. Okay, okay. So he thought it was. I think he thought that he was choosing the cards to discard. Yeah, luckily we don't have timers here because otherwise this would have timed out a long time ago. But
And we have drawn a Dreadbore.
so he's kept all the burn here. Does he have 2 removals though?
Only one.
Hmm. If he doesn't have 2 removals, then or something to stop a Stormbreath Dragon, looks like Matthias is gonna be able to steal this away.
Wow.
Well, I mean, when you draw 20 cards plus in a turn, you would hope that you found what you need to win. If you can't find what you need to win in drawing 20 plus cards in a turn, you may want to rebuild the deck. So yeah. So what's left in Adrian's hand here? Anything to stop a
The
Stormbreath Dragon?
same priest of
Oh yeah.
the
Okay.
blood right, stampeding elk herd, and rescue from the underworld.
Because he's just gonna essence scatter that, and then he's gonna be free to kill his opponent with the Stormbreath Dragon plus assorted other burn here.
Wow, that's quite the game
Oh,
to
actually,
start the format.
just monstrous thing is enough as well. Yes, of course. Yeah. So he doesn't have to show him any of the other burn, but he Yeah, so we do get this. The Jace Memory add up won the game, just not in the way that it usually does, but
Yeah.
it still wins the game. Yeah, so we see a teamer deck here with a possessed scab thrown in, but the rest of it being in the teamer colors here. So he said I might criticize his mana base, but I think for week one this is pretty much par for the course. I can't say I have a more responsible deck than what he's presenting here. So, but I mean, look pretty strong there, being able to claw back into that.
Well, yeah, he hit everything he needed on time, which was pretty good. And more importantly, Adrian just did not hit a land through at the crucial turns
Yeah,
5 to 15.
he did about the best thing that you could do, which is present threats that absolutely had to be blocked. Like Matthias just chump blocked innumerable times that game, but just was able to was able to not die and find what he needed after you know an incredible turn of 20 plus cards drawn. Possibly
So we
a
are,
record here for future matches.
Adrian is running a Jund deck, minimal red, mostly just removal, a couple of falls of the hammer,
Okay.
one Zendikar incarnate, the only red creature I can see. We are
Yeah.
running a Scion of Ugin, which is also not a card you see played much in draft. That's the
No. Yeah. It's just
colorless 6 mana flyer.
yeah. 6 mana 4/4 flying. Just not great. So he's looks like he's Matthias is taking out some combination of Rimrock Knight. He's from what I can tell, he's added a Dreadbore, so that a second black card in his deck. He just maybe saw enough big things that he said, "I need one more removal." Since he was looking through his deck, he's pretty light on removal, especially things
Yeah.
that can kill larger creatures. Like he has burn spells, but they're capped at how much damage they can deal. The two Gates Ablaze have probably you know been very helpful in getting into a 3-0 record so far.
Yeah. That's a phenomenal card here.
Yeah, that's just I mean, if not the best Gates payoff, then just about the best. All
I mean,
right.
I suppose in that match, if Adrian had not chosen to let his nemesis die, but had activated the monstrous, it would have evaded Gates Ablaze. I'm not sure there would have been an answer to it.
Yeah, no, he would have just had to keep throwing stuff in front, and then he would have been able to potentially land the elk. I guess the elk would have still died to the Gates of Blaze, so he never would have been able to trample.
Well, but that the Gates of Blaze wouldn't have been available that turn. It would have had to be
Yeah,
used on a later turn. I mean, it's you go down a rabbit hole there, but
yeah. I think keeping that nemesis would have been pretty important here, just because of how just force your opponent to chump block every turn is pretty great. I mean, I guess he figured he was doing the same thing with the elk, just didn't realize he was opening himself up to Gates of Blaze. So looks
yeah.
like a mulligan here for Adrian. What's he got over there?
Yeah, well, it left us with not much. We have a Voyaging Satyr, though, which will allow us to
Okay.
ramp a bit into Shamanic Revelation
All right.
or Scion of Ugin up at 6.
I mean, Shamanic Revelation is going to be a little while before that card's going to be where you want it to be, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in hand for
We do have a
Matthias here.
stab.
Go on.
Oh, we have a stab wound, and then, yeah, we just drew into this Undead Butler.
Okay. Yeah, so he started off with the Cloudfin Raptor on turn one. He's got a District Guide here. He's got a Gates Ablaze, just in case the board gets a little too scary for him. He's got Opal Lake Gatekeepers, which is one of the nice Gates payoffs. He's got a Zendikar Incarnate, and he's got some lands, two of which are gates. So it looks like he's setting up to do more or less what his deck wants to do. All right. Adrian says, you know what? This
Yeah.
bird mutant, I don't want to deal with this. One more counter, and I can't kill it with a stab wound. So here we are.
Yeah, it's an ideal target for stab wound for exactly one turn.
So
That card.
interesting that Matthias decided not to play the Zendikar Incarnate this turn. and I'd rather play gate. I think he's hoping that Adrian plays another creature, and then he can wipe three creatures
Yeah,
away
you're
with
gonna
the
take the best.
with his Gates of Blaze. So I think otherwise you just play the Zendikar Incarnate, and then next turn you can play the Gatekeepers. You could play a Gate, and then play the Gatekeepers. But looks like he is gonna hope his opponent plays another creature, and he can wipe them away here.
So we've drawn a I don't know how to pronounce it. Palaka predation.
The Palaka, yeah,
The
predation, yeah, which is a
yeah,
land on the
the,
backside.
that's right. I think it's going to get played out as a land here. Oh no, it's not.
Okay, he said, "Let's see what you got there.
Well, it
Let's."
can strip away the gates. I'm not even sure that's the right call here, though,
I
since
mean,
he's got
it's
no obvious answer to the Zendikar incarnate.
so
I
his
think it's
choice is take away a
probable.
big vanilla creature, but like a really big vanilla creature. Take away the
Yeah,
card draw or take away the board wipe. Okay, he said, I think
yeah,
in the long run, Gates of Blaze is going to be more harmful to me than these other creatures. And Matthias has drawn an Honored Hydra here, uh, which has been pretty good card from what I could tell in this set.
yeah. We're going to see some big boys coming down on that side.
Yeah, and he's
Here we
drawn
are stuck on.
yeah, and he's
Oh, we're
drawn
stuck
the
on three
Akut
moves.
Warrior as well, the 4/5. Yeah, last game stuck on 4, this game stuck on 3. I mean, I assume that he's got the requisite amount of lands in his deck. But I mean, he did literally just deny himself a land drop to cast Palaka Predation last turn. So
Yeah,
like, I mean, he knows his deck better than we do, and like what the mana requirements are and how much mana he could work off of. But I know I'm like deathly afraid to miss land drops. Like I always
yes,
play those. Uh, I probably play those double face cards as lands more than I should, but I'm just like, when it's in my opening hand, I'm like, how confident am I that I can draw two more lands by turn 5? I'm like, a lot of people are confident, and I'm like, I'm too scared. So I play them as lands too often, probably. But when you're missing lands, you just sometimes got to bite the bullet. I think, even though he wanted to look at his opponent's hand and take something away, but taking
it
away one
worked
card
out
doesn't help
pretty
if you can't
well,
cast things. Yeah, but now he has the
but
Hydra to deal with.
yeah,
So what?
still no land. We
I
have
mean,
another satyr, so we can, but we still can't get to double spell yet, and we
no.
can't play our 5 drops this turn.
Yeah, land would have gone a long way, but Matthias is pretty ahead here, ahead on cards, ahead on board.
Yeah,
He's going to kill this Death Touch, which is standing in the way of his large creatures.
oh, yeah, that's hard to take on this side.
Well, at least Adrian can block with Undead Butler and get back the Death Touch and make him kill it again.
Yeah,
He does not have any removal in hand as Matthias. He just has more big stuff.
but this is so much damage coming in. I don't think you can use your satyrs to block because you need the mana.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, he's just going to block the most damage here that he can. Yeah, he's going to get back a Death Touch. Hope it's going to be enough here. But he's now at 7 versus a 6/6 Trampler. So the 1/1 Death Touch is helpful, but only goes so far.
Yeah, too little, too late, I think. But he's considering the elk, but the elk seems no good as well.
I mean,
I guess it
yeah,
gives you a block, but you're gonna get blown out by any removal. Like if
yeah.
you take the 5/5, it is castable,
It is
but you'd have to
castable, yes.
tap both of your satyrs, so you wouldn't even have a block unless you drew a land.
Yeah, he'd be done on board if he did that because he knows that there's Zendikar Incarnate coming down.
Right.
So him tapping all of his resources to play one creature would be instant death. So let's see if he can find
Hang
something to
on.
pull out of this, but it's looking less and less likely as he misses his lands.
Yeah, we've got a forest, so now
Yeah, so the
can
game
still only cast one spell.
Yeah, so the game's certainly like a little bit different if he plays his black as a land, is able to play 5 drops. I mean, he's still going to be behind, right? Like he's still
Yeah.
that was not the thing that that cost him in the long run, but it didn't, it wasn't helpful, obviously, to not play that as a land. But based on Matthias just playing big stuff and having the removal at the right time to kill that death touch, it was going to be tough for him anyway, missing the lands.
Yeah, I don't think there's much that you can do here.
Yeah,
Can
maybe there's some
cast.
combination of spells that keeps him technically alive, but
Well, this blocks the Zendikar Incarnate, but the
uh,
6/6 is coming through,
well, he
so you're
just
going to
says
lose all your.
I'm going to do this now. That
That'll
was
be
an
game.
endless naiad. He said, "Let me make a 9/6 flying, regular everyday creature size. You just see them walking around all the time." All right, so congratulations to Matthias here on his win, going to 4-0. So very impressive start to the league for him. And we'll be back in a little bit with our second match of the week.